Sometimes I can get caught up, I can get let down, I can get let go of by someone I found. You can feel like I'm up all the way to my ears in thoughts of what I'll never be. It's like, what don't I got? So what do I amount? Am I living some way that I shouldn't somehow? Is there more I should be, or should do, or should find? Am I enough, or will I ever be? I try to give myself a minute, but the clock won't approve, won't approve, won't approve. If I could use a genie from this bottle like the liquor was blue, I would choose, I would choose a little less pressure, a little less pressure on me, a little less what could I be, and more of who's in front of me. A little less pressure, a little less pressure on me, a little less what could I be, and more of who's in front of me, who's in front of me. Sometimes I can get caught up and forget who's around, and live like the future's more precious than now. It's like no matter where I stay or who sits beside me, I can feel alone and somewhere else. Yeah. And sometimes I can feel unloved, I can feel burned out, I can feel unseen, like I'm the ghost of myself. Maybe I need a change, maybe I need some help, or maybe I need to scream just to feel loud. I try to give myself a minute, but the clock won't approve, won't approve, won't approve. If I could use a genie from this bottle, get a wish from the booze, I would choose, I would choose a little less pressure, a little less pressure on me, a little less what could I be, and more of who's in front of me. A little less pressure, a little less pressure on me, a little less what could I be, and more of who's in front of me, who's in front of me.
Hello, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon. I decided to hop on a little bit later just because I try my best to maintain a schedule. Shit just doesn't happen that way. It's worthless fighting it at that point. I'm gonna try again on Monday. Try to keep like the same sleep schedule, go to sleep at the same time, blah 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 blah. Trying to be an adult, but it doesn't work. Never works. So I woke up. I did wake up early today. I probably woke up around like 12 p.m., which is early for me. You know, about 2 hours earlier than what I'm usually waking up at. So I'm fully awake today. So hopefully I'm in a little bit better mood. If people start bitching and moaning about how the market's down, that's when I get cranky. But let's go ahead and get to it. Howdy doody. All right, so we did have a little bit of a drop in the market over the past day. All right, at the moment, I'm using the USDT chart on Ethereum to collect my 1775 entry, shown here. All right, now I know someone's going to point it out, and I understand. All right, if we do go over to the USD chart, we do have a lower low, which we could possibly get an ABC entry off of about $1,700 exactly, $1,693. All right, I'm still open to that idea. If it does happen, it happens. All right, but at the moment, this is what we got to work with. USDT is usually what I've been using for the past couple of years. All right, about 2 years so far, ever since the latter end of 2020. All right, so I do prefer that chart in terms of what it has to show me. All right, but USD chart does have a lower low. I get that. All right, it's a confusing situation. There is no easy answer to that. All right, now on BTC, I'm still sitting in the same exact long that we've been sitting in for quite a while now. That's not really going to change unless we push down lower. All right, I get knocked out if we hit 27,349. All right. And I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. It definitely is. As long as we maintain, my hope is that this is looking like most of the Adam and Eve bottoming patterns that we've seen pretty much across the board. All right, let's back out to a little bit higher time frame here. All right, so if we go back here, we can see after a major drop, kind of like what we had with Luna. All right, we see quick recovery, slow drain, climb back up, breakout. All right, that's what I'm hoping to see on this. You can see drop, quick recovery, slow drain over the course of, let's see, this was pretty much over the course of about a month. It took that downtrend. And what do you see within that downtrend? All right. Right here, you see downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. All right, this would have been your buying point. And look how choppy that was. All right. Back here, you see drop, quick recovery, slow drain. This one was a little bit of a double loop-de-loop situation, but happens like that sometimes. You have drop, quick recovery, slow drain. You can see A, B, C. All right, so that's what I'm hoping for this bottom over here. Now, definitely this is way smaller of a time frame, but it's the same situation. We have drop, quick recovery, and if you're not thinking that this is a slow drain, I don't know what slow is to you. All right, we have drop, quick recovery, slow drain. The only thing you have to fight is the chop. All right, at this moment in time, if you haven't already, reduce your risk a little bit. All right, I'm using 0.75%. Check yourself, you using the same thing or less. All right, if not, you're probably one of those that are crying that your portfolio is down 75%. All right, trust me, I'm getting hit as well, just like everybody else. My account is sitting at about 5,300. Yep, 5,300. All right, so it's a fall from grace from 7 grand. All right, but that's the name of the game. There's going to be pullbacks. There's going to be drawdowns. You can't weather the storm. You got no hope. So let's go ahead and continue on this little rampage. KDA, I haven't really taken a look at it the past couple of days, but once we do see everything kind of line up, which it kind of is, I do think I'll be taking this trade at about 215. I haven't been trying to go in and out and out and out. I'm not really focused on getting wrecked right now. Okay. Once things kind of calm down, we can start to see what we want. All right. Traditional markets pushing up quite well. All right. A lot of people see that as a bear sign. I'm pretty bullish. Like I said, all right, if you look at the traditional markets, we have a wonderful correction pattern that's been in play and has been forming for many, many months now. All right. Ever since about November is when we started this, A here all the way down to March. And then end of March, we got the B wave. And then into May, we got the end of the C wave. All right. We had the ABC telling us that price action could get bullish there. And what did we see come in after that? Bullishness. It's unfortunate the Bitcoin market, Ethereum market isn't catching up right away, but we'll see what happens. All right. Now, the one thing that we do have to be worried about, not worried, but just noted on a chart, is if we do get rejected from about 13,000, all right, it's not necessarily ultimately bearish, but it does mean that we're probably going to come back down and retest 11,700 and try to put in a lower low and then recover that support to once again try to break through 13 grand. If it fails a second time, that's when we should start looking for a bearish scenario. But until then, market's testing, let it do its thing. Don't get too concerned. Nothing to worry about. All right. Now, the SPY, on the other hand, has been phenomenal. All right. We had that ABC bottom that we called out a couple days ago right here, ABC. All right. Telling us the market has a chance to recover bullishness. All right. Now, once again, ABCs are not a foolproof thing. All right. It's a way for the market to say, okay, we're holding support here a little bit. All right. We have a chance to be bullish. Now, whenever you have an edge in the market, you can take a bet on that chance. Doesn't mean that it's going to work. That's why we use good risk. All right, if you're out here using 10% risk, 5% risk, you can see, hopefully, already that that's not going to work long term. All right, there's a time and a place for it, but we are definitely not in that time and or place. All right, now we have recovered the macro A, which is a very good sign. Like, it really is. This is the problem. Once again, a little bit of price action can change people's entire perspective on the market like that. And lo and behold, if it's a gigantic piece of price action like the drop we just saw that had maybe other factors, we've been calling it for forever, all right? But only until we see realized downside price action do people get bearish. You don't see a lot of people really being bulls right now. Now, I'm not going to say everybody's not, but for me, it doesn't make sense, all right? At least a retest is in the cards. That's all I'm saying, all right? The time to be bearish was when the market got rejected from a major macro top, all right? Not while sitting at major macro bottoms that it is finding support on. Ask yourself that question, all right? Why are you bullish with rejections and bearish with support? All right, if we break that support, I agree with you. But we have not broken it. We are still holding $1,700. All right, we're still holding 28,800. Now, with those supports, because they are macros, we are generously going above and below it, but we're holding that general region. All right, take your bets just like Kelly Criterion. Even if there is a sliver of advantage, you should always bet on that. All right, it's not superstitious. If there's a sliver of edge, you bet on it. And that's what we're doing here. All right, it could still fail. I'm not saying that it can't. But this is the plan, at least for me. Find out what yours is. All right, that's pretty much it. LTC, I'm still waiting on an entry at 64.60. All right, I really want the LTC entry. All right. LTC has been generally good to me. All right, and I hate to say it, but XRP has too. With trades, all right, I'm not talking about holding it long term. With trades specifically, XRP has done some pretty cool things, and the win ratio is pretty good on it. I'm not saying, like, I don't trade it all the time. Trust me, I do not. But the very little trades that I have traded on it have been pretty bangers. But that's pretty much it. We can check out the CIX here. CIX is pretty much in the same situation, going down, testing these recent lows. Right now, I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids. Like I said, I got two conditionals set up. I got one for LTC and one for Ethereum, 1775. I have reduced my quantity of margin because my account is now lower as well, right? As you should be doing too, right? The only way that people can get through that mentally is they go, but if I do that, then I'm not going to make my money back as fast as possible. That should not be the goal. All right. Maybe this is why, things aren't working out. Thoughts about Bybit in the States, even with the VPN now designated restricted pawn region? It's always been restricted ever since the day I started about 4 years ago. My account's still kicking. Risk of being frozen, locked out, completely. You don't get frozen. All right. If there is a problem with your Vibit account, you will receive an email. They will give you 3 days to withdraw your funds, no restrictions. All right? There's no real risk of like losing your money. As long as you pay your taxes on it, you're good, man. The only thing that sucks is you're probably gonna have to pay taxes on all of it, not just the capital gains. Oh, my sister's good. I typically don't receive phone calls from her like during the day, so I thought it was important, and it was. She was going through some stuff, and she just needed someone to lay that on, so I was that person. I use Wix on ABCs. Yep. What do you think about the Bitfinex longs at all-time high? I don't know what you're talking about. Can I look up oil? What's going on with oil? What ticker? Because I know there's a couple, isn't there? Which one do you want? Thank you, Goof. I appreciate it. I'm trying my best to be there for everybody, but it does kind of suck when the market gets super active. Like I said, it's a sickness when a bunch of people are responding with comments and questions that are concerned or like jittery. Makes me feel jittery, and I don't like that. Oil had, like, I can't tell you much about oil besides the technical analysis from what I see from my perspective, but oil had a nice little ABC bottom here. We're seeing a rebound off of that. The one thing I would be cautious of is the next higher high. You might be looking for a rejection because it does look like the market's getting pretty thin here. All right, you might want to come back down and retest possibly this area after this next rejection. So I'd be careful. And I mean, technically, like if you want to say the charts tell you the news, this right here, this if this wasn't a gigantic ABC, I don't know what was. And that right there, that went all the way down to the negatives. All right, so once we got back above $26, there was history from there. All right, let me go to a higher time frame because obviously with these charts, there's a lot more price action than most things. But for discounting this negative wick here, you know, this does look like an A, this looks like our B, and this looks like the start of a C wave. All right, so our hope would be possibly that we see a higher high rejection off of the C wave and we maintain, maybe come back down and retest like the 32s. I don't know how this chart directly corresponds to like oil prices, but I'm almost positive like over here, this was when gas was almost the cheapest. I don't know. But I don't know how all that system works. Kite, any idea how to get rich fast in this world so we can have peace of mind? Well, you don't have to be rich to have peace of mind. It does help. You don't need to. Here, just for you, Ocean. trying to move my camera. Do you see him? He's a distinguished gentleman. Oh, now my camera's all crooked. See how like it makes it look like I'm not level with the background? Gonna bug the hell out of me. Hi. Good enough. It's still bad. I can't believe this. All for the fish. We're trying to apply ABCs on Indian market indices, nifty, but having trouble with 1% stop loss, and 1% is quite different to crypto and total stop loss. I feel like with most other markets, a 1% stop loss is actually a lot. Like if you're trading Forex, you're not going to have 1% stop loss. You probably have like 0.25 because those markets only move like maybe 1% a week sometimes, depending on which assets you're trading. But you said the Nifty. Can I just, is that the ticker? Can I just look that up? The Nifty 50. That's a funny name. I'll give it that. Let's see what we got. So I'm looking on a weekly chart here. You had that ABC top here. That could have been a good trade. Now I know what you're gonna say. Austin, but what about this ABC top and this ABC top? Yeah, okay. All right, what? You got stopped out a couple times and then what? Got a really good trade? Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, yeah. It does look like a tougher market to trade, most definitely, but you can see some good trades within this. Some of these bottoms here. You had this one right here. You had ABC A, B, C. You had this trade right here, A, B, C. Had this trade right here, A, B, C, A, B, C. Like me personally, I probably wouldn't be taking trades like this. That is just, it just doesn't give you enough oomph to really like have confidence in what you're doing. Trades like this, yes. Now, what could be happening here is if we do happen to put in a lower low, you got ABC A, B, and then hopefully a C right here. You have this local low at about $14,000. All right, maybe that will be where you tap off of, or maybe you just get a slightly lower low than about 15,642. I would be careful of the next local high though, right here. You know, that could be definitely a top, but we'll have to see. My preferred time frame would probably be about the 30-minute to 15-minute. All right, but sometimes you do need to force your perspective higher in order to maintain the proper win ratio. If you go to too low of a time frame, you're gonna be caught up on chop. All right. Case in point, we've been on the higher time frames and we're still getting caught up in chop. It just happens sometimes. All right, so learn to deal with it. Don't cry. Lower your risk. Sometimes, if it's real bad, sit on the sidelines. All right. Ain't no reason you gotta take every single trade. But like this, for example, I'm sure there's people out there that are on the 5-minute time frame over here going, Austin, I don't know why ABCs don't work. You know, I'm taking trades like this and this and this. Now, this is a really bad example because these ones did work out. But, you know, people are taking trades like this, you know, A, B, C, and then they cry that they're not doing well. All right. When I have been on these charts live, taking bigger time frame trades, and my account has grown in the past couple of months. All right. You have to ask yourself, what is the problem? Narrow it down. Are you not holding your winners long enough? Are you taking profits too early? Are you cutting your losses too late? Are you taking too small of a time frame? There's so many things that go into this. It's not just this doesn't work. All right. You have to figure out what is the problem. That's why if we stay on the 30-minute, 1 hour, even further, if the whole point of this is to build your trades into like a transformer into a bigger trade. All right, so my hope is, all right, right now we're taking longs. All right, and I'm not doing so for no reason. I'm trying to take these longs in hopes that we are in an AB position on a bigger ABC. All right, we haven't even begun the C wave yet, but I am anticipating it. All right, that's the one pet peeve that I always have is when people come on the live stream and they go, it's one thing to point ABCs out in past time, and most of the time those past times is ones that I actually took. All right, and as well as that, if you don't have like, I maybe it's something with the brain, like to envision what could possibly happen. All right, some people are too stuck in the literal to imagine what is possible. All right. It's not daydreaming. It's about planning for the future and the possibilities that lie within it. When I look at this chart, I don't see just one possibility. I look at the alternatives as well, try to narrow down what I believe from my past experiences, what is the most probable, and then from there, I assess what my decision is going to be. Is it always the right one? No. But I have to make a decision, otherwise I'm doing nothing. All right, it's better to make the wrong decision with small risk that you can rebound from than to make no decision at all and then rush into a decision when things get moving. See what I'm saying? It's okay to be wrong when you have no rush at all. But when you're in a rush and wrong, most of the time you're losing a lot more than you intended because you were just in a hurry. So what I'm hoping right now is that we have an A, we have a B, and we're going into a C wave. Now, take that a step further, and I'm hoping that it compounds into an even bigger trade, which is this right here. All right, if you look at the daily chart, we have downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. I'm hoping the ABC from down here can hopefully get us back above 33K sometime in the future. If we can find support on that, my hope for the market is pretty much sky high. All right, I don't think we're going into a new bull market. We're going to put in all-time highs, probably about 800 days, maybe even 900. All right, I know the halvening is in 700 days or less, but usually we don't see an actual new all-time high until many days after that. All right, so my hope is that we can stabilize the market in this general range, maybe between 48,000 to 33K, maybe even see some higher highs. I'm not sure. All right, and then the main reason I say that is if we look at the 1-year hodler wave, this isn't typically a metric that I like to look at because I do think that it's used in the wrong way, but it is kind of interesting. If we look at it, all right, we can see that the hodler wave is at an all-time high, meaning that the Bitcoin that has been locked up from 1 year and more is at an all-time high. Supply has dwindled. All right, does that mean that we're going into a bull market? No. All right, because that's just one of the two major factors that make up the bull market for Bitcoin. The other is going to be the halvening. Once you have a supply shock from people locking up the supply and not willing to sell it, and then the supply that's coming in from miners now gets cut in half as well, because miners, they don't care. They'll sell whenever they need to sell in order to pay for their electricity costs. They don't care if they're selling at a premium. They just want the money at that price though. All right. So I don't think it's enough to send us into a full-blown bull market, but what I do think is it's enough to stabilize price. I'm not saying that we're not going to see lower, and I'm not saying that we're going to see all-time highs again. All right. I'm just looking for a general answer for what I believe is going to happen based on these factors. And for me, it just kind of signals sideways price action. That's all. And as a trader, I love that. Most people don't, because that's when they start to freak out. Sideways price action to them is bad price action. Typically leaning on the side of bearishness, because they go, if it not go up, then it can't go up. All right, that's not how it works. If that's how it worked, Bitcoin would not be here at this day and age. Because Bitcoin has done a lot of sideways price action, but mostly up. So, love to see it. Favorite wrestler, Hollywood Hogan or original Hulk Hogan? I don't know which one. Oh yeah, brother. Is Hulk Hogan the brother? Is that him? I didn't really watch wrestling. Now, Dave Chappelle is a funnier comedian, but Chris Rock isn't like bad. No, I'm not. I'm not still macro bitch. I was bearish when the market got a macro rejection. I said that at the beginning of the live stream. I was bearish when the market told me to be bearish. Right now, it's not telling me to continue to be bearish. Right? If we can break 28,800, go below it, come back up, and get a nice fat short ABC. All right, while still below 28,800, I'll short that, and that's when I'll be bearish. Until then, whatever happens, happens. I'm kind of on the side of sideways and up. How did you go from 700 to 5K? Time. All right, if you're talking about when this account was at 700 bucks, that was 120 days ago. We've taken big longs and big shorts. What do you think about inflation playing a role in Bitcoin's price? I've thought about that too. Don't get me wrong. All right, but I don't pay too much attention to that because it's just messing things up too far. But if you want to think about it, if inflation is up 20%, the price of one Bitcoin has not changed. The value, as in the eye of the beholders, has not changed. All right, so if the dollar inflation increases, all right, yes, Bitcoin will go up in price, but it's still the same value, if that makes sense. All right, a gallon of gas only gets you so far. Just because you pay more for it does not mean that the value of the gas has gone up. It still goes the same distance. Yep, I have a conditional long at 1775. I'm longing at 6460 because our last local high was here. We had a downtrend that broke into an uptrend, and we put in a new high here. So this is where people typically get into trouble and go, well, you know, you go from the local low to the next highest high. As long as it didn't put in a new high, we're good. And now we're in a downtrend. All right, so the local low that's important, that if we get back above it, the market can prove itself to be bullish, is 6460. Amigo, hello. Dot. Dot has a long way to come back up in terms of like it getting back up its macro A here. All right, lower time frame. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. It's a decent setup. I'll be very careful right now though, but it is a decent setup. Like I said, with these altcoins, please make sure that you're using lower risk. If the R&R is higher, you don't have to be as risky. Expect chop. Don't be surprised when it happens. Don't be mad when it happens because that is what you signed up for. When do I see the long support for XRP? I don't know, man. I don't really. XRP, I don't know why people still talk about it, to be honest, but you do you, I guess. Maybe I'm the one that's silly in the next couple of years. About 39 cents. And then if XRP can get back above about 54 cents, that would probably be the best thing. All right, now technically you do have another Abe down here at about 51, but 54 is probably your best. How much money should you have on your account to be able to make a good earning with BTC? There's no amount of money that's... It's not based on your money, it's based on percentage. All right. If you want to make money with trading, just start and go. I use the golden pocket sometimes, so typically based on my macro direction, I just let my trades go wherever they want to go. All right, but on the hedge trades that I'm betting against the market, I'm betting against my actual macro bias, I just take hedge trades that I take profit on. And usually that take profit is around the 0.5 to 0.382 area. So say for example with this trade right here, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, all right, the golden pocket is about 27,892. All right, that's with the USD chart. If we go over here to BTC USDT, which is the one I typically use from Bybit here, we can see we've already hit that. We have uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. That was at about 28,635. Now, I've seen people use harmonics and I've heard of the bat pattern, but I haven't really studied them. To me, it's the same thing like Elliott wave, WXYZ, first wave, second wave. There's so many different ones. It's like star signs. So when is the right time to take the setup, Kite? What do you mean? Are you talking about like the time of day? For me, it's when the A and the B gets formed and we put in that lower low or that higher high and we come back above it. Now, if you're referring to me talking about altcoins and me being standoffish about touching some of them, right? I want to see Bitcoin and Ethereum be deadly close. All right, right now we are kind of in that territory. We have the A, we have the B, we have the C. All right, I want to see us be at these levels as something like KDA is crossing. All right, because you want the market to go up as a whole. Otherwise, you're just going to get into another chop situation. Everybody loves to believe that their altcoin is not influenced by Bitcoin or Ethereum. You know, it's separate. It does its own thing. You know, we the GOAT. No. All right, you still got to obey the queen and the king of crypto at the moment. That's how people are making their money, swapping in and out of it. I find a lot of time with those harmonics and Elliott wave, like I said, people tend to get in this habit of everything has to be exact. They need the exact harmonic pattern. They need the exact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count. It has to hit this fib exactly, instead of waiting for the market to just do what it does. Because nothing's going to be picture perfect. Sometimes, maybe once in a while, it might be. All right, but very rarely. I'd say just be on the lookout, be vigilant. Sometimes the market just works in different ways. take the opportunity, ride it out for as much as it's got, and let it go when the time's right. Don't overweight anything. Don't underweight anything. That's why, for me, I rather sacrifice profit for the security of what the market is trying to tell me. So, Kite, does the ABC work as well for the traditional market? And why do you trade mostly the crypto market? More gains, less regulation. It works on all markets. Like I said, the ABC isn't like a surefire method that has to work. It's a way of structuring your risk around what you want to see from the market. Whether or not you get it, that's a different story. Most people don't have that. They just throw money at it, don't know when to close their trade, whether it's at a loss or in profit. And they just go with the wind. You can go look at many different markets. I've shown the S&P, I've shown the US 100, I've shown AMD, I've shown Nvidia, I've shown Tesla. You find ABCs on everything. The reason being is just because that's how markets work. Market go up, people get bullish. Market go down because people get bearish. Once we get back to the previous price point where people were bullish, if we show that we're bullish again, we need to retest higher. It's just the market is a tool to find out the true value of an asset at any given point in time. Now, depending on what market that is, it might not be free from regulation, so there is a little bit of manipulation in terms of how slowly or how fast things can go. And a lot of people cry manipulation with the crypto market, but it's the exact opposite. It's a free market. Free market it's free to do what it wants to do. If someone wants to sell $10 billion right now, they can do so. They ain't got to tell nobody. And that's the beauty of it. If you support free speech, if you feel like the government shouldn't have their hands in your pockets, then you should support what the crypto market does instead of cry about it. It goes both ways. Don't be hypocritical. Any thoughts on a good mining setup / project? No, I haven't really looked into it. I got my miner set up. It's on NiceHash. It does its thing. It sits in the corner. I don't really worry too much about it. If you're interested in mining, just check out Vosscoin. He knows a lot more than I do. Can you make an example on the Kite calculator? An example of what? Like what type of trade? Just how I would do something? So theoretically, let's say that we have an ABC here. All right. I want to short if we come back below the A. Okay. I don't care what happens after that. As long as we're below this A, I am short. Okay. So right here, I go ahead and I go, this is my if this and that statement line. If I'm below it, I'm short. If I'm above it, I'm out. All right. Now, it is up to you. There is no perfect way to do this. All right. It is all dependent on what your personal needs from the market are. All right. If you're trying to make money super fast, be hella risky. All right. It's in the name though. You're being risky. All right. It's an equal trade-off. If you're willing to put money up front, you'll get a lot back. If you want to be safer, then you give up profit. It's just how it works. Right now, finding a good medium for whatever your lifestyle is, that's the most important part. You want a good combination of profit so you're not wasting your time, and you want a good combination of security. That way, you're not wasting your time by blowing up your account and having to restart. All right, so right here, for me personally, all right, I've been settling on a 1% stop loss. All right, because I am here pretty much all day. Yes, I miss trades when I'm sleeping sometimes. All right, but as I've gotten older in the market, I realized that really I got other options. Most of the time I'm in a macro trade. If I miss a little micro trade, I'm fine. All right. Now there is points where like stuff is truly important and I can't miss it. I turn on my speakers. I make sure that I'm up when that alert comes across. I have conditionals set up. All right, I make sure that I'm on top of it. But some people, all right, if you need to, use a 2% stop loss. All right, just know that you're giving up your R&R. All right, so like if I only get stopped out one time right here, all right, I'm losing my risk, and then I win the trade. All right, so for example, let's say this is the trade right here. All right, so I make a 9 R&R. I lost 1, I made 9, I'm positive 8. You know, more like 7.75. All right, but right here, if I do use a larger stop loss, all right, I'm reducing my R&R by 4.5. So if I'm willing to lose 1% of my portfolio, all right, I'm deleveraging my account 2x. All right, I'm making, that's the whole point. People go, why use leverage? 1, you can short. That's like a given. 2, portfolio exposure. You can have more of your portfolio in a safe place, less of it in a dangerous place. All right, I'm not saying Bybit's dangerous. What I'm saying is there is always a risk with having your wallet on the web. That's a given. All right, no matter what or who it is. It could be Gemini, Coinbase, Kraken, anybody. All right, as long as it's on the web and as long as it's a custodial wallet, it is not safe. All right, so you can have more of your portfolio in cold storage, less on an exchange. Goes for anybody. Because people go like, if I'm using 1% risk, but I'm using a 2% stop loss, right? You're basically deleveraging the market. All right, you're making it so that the market has to move more in order to lose the same. That makes sense. All right, so it gives you additional safety, but once again, there's always an equal trade-off. With additional safety means less profit. You know what I'm saying? So right here, we go ahead and we say, okay, this is the trade that I want. If we come back below this line, I'm going to short. So we go over here to the calculator. We go, okay, my account is worth 5,285. All right. Now, right here, portfolio at risk. This is the number that matters, nothing else. All right, because this is what actually is happening. All right, if you lose this trade, the only thing that matters is how much are you actually losing in terms of percentage of the full portfolio amount. All right, nothing else matters. The leverage doesn't matter. The margin doesn't matter. Nothing. It can play an influence in your psychology, but in terms of mathematics on paper, it does not. All right. Now, let's say that you're the type of person that's only taking maybe one trade at a time. All right. Do you have to use 5% of your portfolio as margin? No, you can use 50%. All right. Because at that point, why? If you're only taking one trade at a time, why do you need to use such a small amount? You can just lower your leverage, use more money. You're making the same exact amount of money. You're losing the same exact amount of money. Why not wrap it up? All right. But for me, I do take hedge trades. I take multiple trades. So instead of using 50% of my portfolio as margin on one trade, I rather use 5, because that leaves the other 95% open for me to take trades with. All right. It's something that I've practiced for a very long time. I used to be to the point where I was making DCA trades that were the wrong thing to do. All right, so I did. I locked up 80% of my portfolio in one good trade, and until I got stopped out or I hit my take profit, there was nothing for me to do. I had to sit on my thumbs. And that's an important skill, is to just be quiet and let the market do what it does. Otherwise, you're just yapping. And sometimes you're yapping to yourself so much you trick yourself into something. So it's a very iffy game. All right, so right here, you can set this up many different ways. As long as this portfolio at risk is a decent number, all right, you can determine what that is. I'm not going to tell you. All right, me personally, as long as I'm under 1% or at 1%, I'm good. All right, there is times where I try to test the limits and I'll use 2%, 3%. All right, and yeah, it can work for a while, but you're playing against a very harsh game. All right, so you need to make sure that you're settling down. All right, if you are using high risk and you do well to your portfolio, even if it's $100, if you can turn $100 into $400, all right, you should be like, okay, I 4x'd my portfolio. Let's settle down. This is 4 times as much money as I had before. Why don't I calm down and now ride it out? All right, you just saved yourself 4 times as much of the time that it would have taken you if you were using 4 times less risk. I'm not saying that you want to do that. I'm saying that if you're doing that, make sure you calm down at some point. All right, so right here, let's say that we want to use 1% risk. All right, all I got to do is make sure that this right here, all right, what's 10% of 100? All right, 100% of my portfolio is 5,285. So 10% of 5,285 is 528. What's 10% of 10% of my portfolio? $52. All right, so you see how it goes from 5,285, 528 to 52. $52 is 1% of 5,285. See, one of the misconstrued things that come across in the market is when people talk about the 1% rule, people think that your margin is supposed to be your risk. That's not true, right? Because we're not getting stopped out. I mean, we're getting stopped out. We're not getting liquidated, right? If you are getting liquidated, reassess what you're doing, right? Now, hopefully, if you are getting liquidated, $52 would be your margin size, but that's not how we play. All right, so I'm using $528 as margin and then $52 as risk. All right, so that means every single time that I get stopped out, I'll lose $52.85. Now, if I get stopped out again, my account now dwindles down to $535. All right, now my risk gets lowered and so does my margin. As the account grows and dwindles, these numbers will change. So when I have more money in the future, I'm losing more money when I get stopped out. All right, but it's still worth 1% of the portfolio no matter what. If it's $1 million or $10 million, it's the same thing. The only thing that's changing is the dollar amount, but the risk stays the same. Now, for example, let's say you start with $100, all right, and you do go all the way to 10K, all right. At that point, you're now using 100 times more money, but the same risk percentage. I get it, right? If you're in a little bit of a situation where you're a little bit too scared, drop it down a little bit, right? You're still using more risk in terms of dollar amount, but you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to use 9%, 10%, all right? You're giving yourself a little bit of buffer room, right? Because someone that has, $1 million, they can risk, 0.2%, but then if they hit a 10 risk reward ratio trade, they're making enough to buy a Corolla. So, see how the difference is? It's not the money involved. It's how the percentages play upon it. So it goes back to the question of how much money do you need to have in a trading portfolio in order to make a living? There's no easy answer to that. Because your win ratio is going to be different from mine because my psychology is different from yours. You might tweak the ABCs in order to fit your lifestyle, which might increase or decrease the profit or the win ratio. Who knows? You have to find out for yourself what is happening. All right. If you have a long track record of finding out, okay, I'm typically bringing in 7.5% to the portfolio every single month on average. All right. So if I have a $10,000 portfolio, that's only $750. All right. You can have a floating account, but that's not what you want. You want it to get easier over time to hit your dollar goal if you're still maintaining the same percentage monthly. So if you get up to $100,000 and you're still bringing in that average of 7.5%, right now you're bringing in $7,500 a month. All right, then, you can be like, okay, I'll take $2,000 out of that, use it for my bills. I'll put the other $5,500 back into the account to help it compound to reach that goal easier in the future. All right, but don't gimp yourself at the beginning. All right, don't start withdrawing from your portfolio just because you're making good wins. All right, because the whole purpose is to build it and compound it to make it easier and hopefully less risky. Like I said, a person that has $100 might be willing to risk more percentage points because it's not as much dollars, but it's still the same thing. You're still risking more of your portfolio. Would a person with $10 million use 10% risk? No, they wouldn't. All right. Very spirited rant, but I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. otherwise. Hopefully, like, they hear me scream about it, get angry, and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, Kite. You don't know. I know. And then they, eventually over time, they'll be like, okay, I see where I've been going wrong. That's all we can hope. How to get my mindset? Trade. Be angry with yourself for your decisions. Find constructive ways to work on those things and fix them, and do it again for the next couple of years. Okay, I say be angry at yourself because that can give you for me, like, anger equals passion. Like, it gives me, like, a drive. So if I'm angry at why I'm doing something, all right, as long as I'm not, like, taking out and, like, punching my monitors and I'm like, I hate the market, I can be angry with myself and be like, okay, let's come up with a plan or a method, try it out, see if it helps. And that's where I came up with once I enter a trade, I have to sit here at the chart for 20 minutes with my eyes closed and my chart full screen, and I can't touch jack shit. Kite, genuine question. What drives you to do this? At first it was the money, but over time I eventually found out that trading changes the way that you think about everything that you do. And it has helped me out with many things in life. I talk to people differently. I create situations differently. I've become a better person because of it. At first, maybe not, because at first it was resembling gambling addiction, to the point where, like, I was losing sleep, my health was declining, and it was for many years. I'm trying to get that back on track. I've done a lot of damage to myself, but the psychology aspect is immensely powerful. And I think that if people, even vocationally, try this out, where, like, they don't do it full time, they're doing it for maybe a little bit extra money, it can help them. It's one of those things where, like, how does a person find peace in a world where productivity is necessary? You never have time to sit down and think. And this is one of those things where it combines the fact that thinking is how you make your money. So it's combining the best of the both worlds. Now, like, at the deep dark, root of it, it is a zero-sum game. It's like legal steals, but it's a battle. It always has been. It's evolution, I guess. Well, you said, what drives you to do this? And you said, talking to us. I feel like if I don't talk, I feel like people that don't necessarily have the best intentions will. And then what's the point? Also, I live a pretty secluded life. I have probably on my hand about 5 people I can depend on. I mean, I like the social aspect of it as well. Anton, did you not just hear the entire speech I just gave? Jesus Christ. Yeah, one of my earlier renditions, you said, Kite, could you enter a specific set price, not based on ABC support resistance? I used to do that. And once again, it's all about the iteration of, like, I found out that it's not necessarily the indicator or the method that's giving me the most amount of money. It's the way I can structure my risk. After that, I found out the ABCs were a prominent pattern. And if you try to deny that, I hate to say it, but you're wrong. But beforehand, like, this was like when I really started to click in things, again, like on the risk management side of things, was right here. All right. During the bull market was when things really started to click for me. So right here, on Ethereum. It's all started with Elliott Wave, looking at trends rather than individual price action. Like right here, I would go, okay, we have uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. So like right here, I would try to find the local lows. So right here, I would long this line. That's all I would do. I would look at the local lows and I would treat them almost like the A. But you can see if I would have been using ABCs at that time, I could have just foregone that and used this ABC right here and been done with it. Instead, I got caught up in a whole bunch of chop. But how long have we been live today? 1 hour on the dot. I have a 6th sense for that 1 hour mark now. And trust me, like, it's not that I want to get away from the streams faster. I know myself enough where, like, if I do those 4 to 5 hour streams again, I don't know if anybody was here for that, but like there was like a month straight where like I was on live stream pretty much 12 hours out of the day. I burn myself out. So if I can keep the streams under an hour, I can stream more consistently, and that way I'm here for stuff. Otherwise, I need to go retreat into seclusion, away from people for a while to recoup. Just how it works. Alright guys, I'm gonna peace out for today. I already ordered food, I already watched TV with my sister, man. Productive day. But probably on the Discord, playing some Valheim. If my patience is low, would it be better if I use a high win rate and low risk reward strategy? Yeah, if you can find one. I'm not saying that ABCs are the best one out there. I'm just saying that's what it worked for me. So if you can find one that has a high win rate, provably, all right, then go ahead, do it. So, for example, all right, I'll answer this one last question for you, Goof, because it is a good question. All right, I get that. I can be vague sometimes. All right, so for example, you said, I know you say when the market lets me know, that's when I get out for my take profit, but how does the market tell you? All right, for example, right here, all right, I inferred that, okay, we had an uptrend and we were in a downtrend. Pretend that none of this price action existed because it didn't when I took this trade. All right, this was the exact day when we got the news about Russia invading Ukraine. All right, so I looked at the market and I said, okay, we have a big uptrend and we have a big downtrend. All right, so mentally I go, okay, we could go put in a lower low at 33K and form a bigger ABC like that. Or if we maintain this higher low, utilizing this smaller time frame ABC right here, which is the long that I took and held, I go, okay, all right, I'm going to hold this trade, be willing to get stopped out to take this one down here if it happens. If it doesn't happen, I'll be looking for a retest of 45,800, right? And you can see we got that pretty much almost immediately. I shorted this down. I only took profit like right about here, right? Because I thought we were going to go put in a higher high a little bit sooner, but over time we did. So eventually we ended up forming A, B, C. So I was holding my long position from here, but once the market put in this higher high and came back down below, I took my short. All right, so from there, all right, once we put in this A, B, C formation, the market has now given me a new setup in order to take a long that I can be confident on. There was no setup within any of this price action that I was confident longing. And we didn't have the higher high bearish setup beforehand. All right, now that the market has confirmed that it wants to turn macro bearish, I need to get out of my long once we create this setup here, ABC. That way, if we do want to continue to the upside, right, I can get into a long again at a new safe price point, all right? But if not, the market can continue dropping. That's what I mean by the market showing you. I didn't take my profit at the very tippy top trying to make the maximum profit possible. I took my profit way lower than this high or this high, because I needed the market to give me a new place of confidence where I can be safe if I'm wrong. That's what I mean by letting the market show me when to get out. Most of the time when people are questioning, like on the Discord and stuff, you know, ABCs just don't tend to work for me, I can almost guarantee you it's because you're using too small of a time frame. One, you only get confident when I make a big win, and then yeah, sometimes it does get choppy after that because everybody's excited about the market. The market has a lot of volatility, and then you only try out ABCs when there's a lot of volatility, and you go, it doesn't work. And then the process repeats. I make another gigantic win because I'm sticking to a strategy that I believe in, and then you come right back round. It's like clockwork. Stick to something. It doesn't have to be ABCs. Find something that fits your playstyle, your psychology, and has at least some merit statistically that it can work, and stick to it. Use small risk if you actually don't believe in something, because then at least you're not wasting away your portfolio, but stick to something. Stay consistent. I know I'm not the picture perfect version of that when it comes to physical stuff, but when it comes to this market, hopefully I am setting a good example. And hopefully I can translate that to, like, you know, going to the gym 3 days out of the week. You know, I'm trying my best here. It's so hypocritical for me to say these things and not do these things. I'm trying my best. But that's me being honest. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and that's the best advice I can share for you. But okay, we're off. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much, as always. Hey, there's a difference between uptight and passionate. I'm passionate. When the market's chill, I'm chill. Hey, Market Matt, that wasn't a personal dig at you, my dude. All right, guys. I appreciate your time today. I'll see you shortly. I should be back Monday. I don't promise I'm a stream on the weekends. You know, if I'm here, I'm around. You know, I probably will, but I try to leave that open. All right, guys. Let's choose a song. Not a whole lot like on the radar today. Khan did drop a new song. I haven't really screened it yet because I do like to listen to some songs first before I play them on live stream. My grandparents watch these streams, man. I gotta make sure that they're somewhat upstanding. This one's a quick one. It's Nick D. I don't know who Connor Price is, but I know who Nick D is. Gasoline. Actually, no, we'll just do the quick and short one. We'll do Gasoline. All right, guys, let me load it up. We'll do the thing, say goodbye, and I'll see you shortly. Bye.
I'm still dancing with 2 left feet. I can get it. I can get it. Yeah. Now I'm still dancing with 2 left feet, yeah. But with a little help, I can move on beat. Now I can moonwalk in 2 socks and groove all week. But I can't seem to 2-step, I lose my feet. Now I can shake it, I can shimmy, I can shuffle, I can gritty. You can gritty? I can gritty, it just don't look that pretty. And I can do this little walk too, it goes like this. It goes toe, 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 cross, yeah, that's it. Tell me, baby, what you mean by that? They don't even got it just seem like that. Where you think you're going with them jeans like that? Hey, start a little fire, gasoline on that. My bad. My bad. My bad. Hey, who said I can never move? I just do it through the music. Make the crowd just to check on the acoustics. I can never lose, I ain't never get a goose egg. But I'm still hit a groove with a 2-step. Yeah, she know I'm gon' get it there. The way she move her body, yeah, she know just what she doing here. She don't mess with anybody, nah, not a single person here. Whoa, got a bill, baby, why'd you bring your person here? Keep it on the low, talk to me, yeah. If you wanna go, walk to me, yeah. If so, let's shimmy, 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 yeah. Back it up slow like good. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Tell me, baby, what you mean by that? They don't even got it just seem like that. Where you think you're going with them jeans like that? Hey, start a little fire, gasoline on that. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Let's do another one.
Yeah. You talking down, down, down. You talking down on me. Hey, you talking down on me. I just been eating it up cause I'm not what you're used to. Why you all milking this shit that ain't real for a check like you working at you? I ain't never been about it, so maybe my name won't get up with the new dudes. Never act out for the fame. If you playing that game, get the fuck out my face. Bitch, get the fuck out my face. I ain't got no time today. I'll do what you say I can. Won't let you make me feel ashamed. All I do is win. Like, dude, that'll buy you a drink. Let me have my fun and live while you do what you think is best. Hey, the haters are only fans. I feel like a naked bitch is getting rich from it, but I'm a holy man. Thankful to God for my blessings and those who pray and promise. Cause I need them all. Pride hit heavy when they see things fall. But the story of my life is to keep shit going. No matter the sacrifices, I just need this all. Badly, I'll never sell my soul, although they've been asking. Need to be the one controlling all of the action. I put the pedal to the floor, you sit in the backseat. Why don't you sit that ass down? Contradictive ass clown. You do what you can to make the big man proud. Then you go against it all when you run your damn mouth. I'ma run your ass down. I'm here. You talking down on me, I just been eating it up cause I'm not what you're used to. Why you all milking this shit that ain't real for a check like you working at you? I ain't never been about it, so maybe my name won't get up with them new dudes. Never act out for the fame. If you playing that game, get the fuck out my face. Bitch, get the fuck out my face. I ain't got no time today. I'll do what you say I can. Won't let you make me feel ashamed. All I do is win. Like, dude, that'll buy you a drink. Let me have my fun and live while you do what you think is best.
Nah, being when it's crunch time, I just thought it would be like weird to do it like loud over something. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it be when it's crunch time. You and your whole team on the front lines. Only add sauce to the motherfucking punchline. I would never want your life cause I love mine. Sick of living life with feelings of envy. The picture I saw clear was really just empty. It's all in my head, why compare me to deadbeats? Was tricking me into thinking that I wasn't ready. But I'm readier than ever, don't compare me to whoever. Family, we stick together like boom. Now you're leaving in the stretcher cause you're broken under pressure. Can't believe you think you better like AK, about to open up shop, grand opening